My guest this week is Steve Davis from Baker Marketing, and our topic is content marketing for small businesses. We're here recording from the Tranquillo Cafe in Stirling in the Adelaide Hills, so you might hear a bit of nice sort of ambience in the background. So hi Steve, welcome to the program.
Nick, thank you.
Before we get started on the topic, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about Baker Marketing?
Okay, we're a team of about 14 people, seems to change every now and then, but it's around about 14 on average. Marketers based in Adelaide. We position ourselves as the outsourced marketing department because since we began in 1998, our sole focus has been small to medium business and small organisations. Typically those that can't afford to have their own marketing staff in-house, so they like to have expertise they can call on in little pinch hits, if you like. So get someone in to help with a particular project or use us as a trusted advisor to bounce some ideas off, right up to doing full-blown marketing plans, websites, etc. So we're there to help them as much or as little as they need, and every day is different. And I've been with the team since 1999, so out on parole soon.
Good run. Well, let's get into the topic of content marketing. Now, before I ask you to define content marketing, let's first define content. What do we mean by content in this context?
I think content can be as narrow or as broadly defined as you like. I think of it being in parallel with the messaging that you think is really important to get across to your target market. Messaging can take all sorts of form, but when I use the term message from a marketing perspective, it's because it is linking back to the goals of the organisation, the marketing goals you want to achieve. So we can't just communicate with people telepathically, so those messages, that content has to take form in some way or shape. And so when I think content, I'm thinking of, ideally, at its foundation, the core sense of what a message might be, but then it might be manifest in many different ways. It could turn into a brochure, it could be photography, it could be spiel that salespeople learn to talk with people on the shop floor. It is a many varied thing.
Great, and so what then is content marketing?
Well, the thing is, when we just talk content, then people can hear that Instagram was really popular at the Olympics and McDonald's did a whole lot of really good stuff with it. And so, okay, everyone, we're just going to go out and take photographs. That's content on its own. But content marketing is twofold. It's thinking strategically about what content is going to actually have a strong what's in it for me factor for your target market. It's going to answer some questions as they move along the sales funnel, from not even knowing that they need your product or service to hunting around to choose a vendor to provide that product or service. So first of all, it's actually relevant in that part. And secondly, it is laid down on their pathway somewhere strategically, so it intersects with them. So it could be coming up through Google search, it could be appearing in forums where people are, it could be emailed out to them, shared through social networking, etc.
Great. And why is this content marketing? Why is this a strategy that small businesses should be particularly thinking about?
I think small businesses benefit if they're in that phase where they're either starting up and everything is just running at full passion, or they've been going for a long time, worked out that things have hit the doldrums and people have been able to re-tap into their passion again as to why on earth we're doing this enterprise. And so to me, the common thing is passion. If there is a strong passion and commitment to whatever product or service is being crafted and provided, we've got normally an overflow of great insights, of experience, of understandings that help make sense of the world through the focus of that product or service. And that information there is just gold. It's absolute gold for prospective customers who are still on that pathway to choosing a product or service. They don't know what to ask for yet, so in doing their research they might come across a handy guide to buying widgets that answers a few of their questions, narrows the field for them, and then actually makes them a better customer to deal with, because they're going to ask smarter customers and they're not going to get or that they'll be less likely to be swept away on buying something on a whim. I'll actually buy something that is useful to them, which is a better outcome for all of us.
Great, great. And it seems like probably smaller businesses are more likely to have that passion that you mentioned than, say, a bigger business where they have many different working parts, and like the marketing manager may not necessarily be as invested in the business as, say, the owner of the business would be in a small business case.
I think you're right. I heard an interview recently with one of the head guys at Twitter and another gentleman whose name escapes me. And they were talking about strategy and the different types of CEO strategy there are. There's peacetime and wartime strategies. And peacetime is when we're in this corporate land where things have settled, the companies are established, and I find sometimes, and this might just be my quirk, but I find that sometimes inside the halls of a bureaucratic corporation, there are people who are marking time. There are people who are doing things because they can, not because they should. Someone who sells, let's say, bus advertising takes a salesperson out for a wine and dine them, and so they end up getting some business that way, whether or not it's actually the right thing for that client, that company to do. There's a lot of that goes on. It's not always, and I don't want to be, hunted down in the dark alleys of corporate land, and for having said that. But I think there can be a distance from the mission on the road that actually made people seek out that product or service in the first place, compared to small business, where often the founder is still there, there's fire in the belly, there are people gathered around trying to build something, and they're attracting like-minded people. Now, I'm going to go all rosy-coloured glasses there, because I've also, in the decade plus that I've been doing consulting with Baker Marketing, I have met people who seem burnt out. They seem to have built themselves a job rather than still tap into that passion that's trying to make a difference in a sector they care about. So, long answer, but to me, when you've got the ability to turn the boat around quickly, resharpen things quickly, it's just a gift for small business.
Great, great. And how would you see that content marketing fits into a wider marketing strategy?